The S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100. Now we had some big earnings. We had Apple, we had Amazon, and I'm gonna tell you right now, as we jump into the day, you're gonna wonder, Tyler, why are you in the basement of Option Drops HQ? I'll tell you here in a second. When we're going into earnings today, it looked really good. DraftKings mega beat. Amazon discount double check ultimate beat. Right, destroyed. Right. All the questions about AWS, what was happening, the competition with Microsoft, boom. Business is booming at AWS. Jassy, shout out. Hey, maybe you are the second coming of our boy Jeff Bezos. You know, things kept rolling out, doing really well. And then we get to the big boy, Apple. And I mean, I shed a few tears. Apple's earnings. Now let me tell you the good, the bad, the ugly. Start with the bad. Okay. We knew iPhone sales were going to come down. We knew that was going to happen. The mention of Apple GPT, next to none. None. Yeah. They were like, yeah, earnings are going terrible. We missed on basically everything except services. Yeah, let's not mention AI. Nah, not. No point. We'll just save that one for later. Extra bad. They expect double-digit losses or slowdown, on Mac and iPad sales over the next quarter. Okay, so I was like, Apple, you're ripping the Band-Aid off. Okay, come on. Where's the good news? Services was a big surprise. No one expected, including the CEO and CFO. They did not expect services to do what it did. Services was a mega beat. And they expect services to accelerate going into next quarter. And they also expect iPhone sales to accelerate as well because the new iPhone 15 is supposed to have some pretty big updates. That's just what they're saying. Okay. So when we look at the market, let's jump in. When we look at the market, you're pretty flat. Okay. So we look at like kind of where we're at, how we've been moving over the past hour or so. We saw the initial pump from all the great earnings, and then Apple kind of came down. Now Apple did beat on everything, but it wasn't like a great beat. And like I said, and I said this yesterday, I said, look, earnings are important. Their EPS revenue is important. But more than anything, the call is the most important because investors are talking about what you're going to do for them going forward. And Apple, saying double-digit slowdown was not a step in the right direction, okay? And so that's kind of what's happening here. And so we see we're kind of still flat. We're not doing anything special. We're just kind of like chopping a little bit to the upside. SPY's up a little bit in the after hours. I think Qs are as well, slightly, very minuscule, okay? I'm going some more with this. Dow, similar action. ES, same thing, okay? Now, Amazon in the after hours. Dear sweet Lord baby Jesus, you're going crazy. I said this yesterday on Twitter, and I'm not the guy that's going to come out and just say the good, but I'm also going to say the bad. I'm going to say where I was wrong. I'm going to be transparently clear, but I am going to flex where I was right because I want to feel a little bit good in my pain. Amazon SR flip going into earnings. Must watch here. If earnings go well, we'll blast through the 140 level, in my opinion. I mentioned yesterday's video, 127.5 holding was very big. I had people, not very happy about this. But anyways, you're pushing through 140. You're probably going to push to like 145, 146. Talk about that in a second. Now, where I was wrong, mega wrong, Apple. I was wrong. Parents, want to be clear, I still have my position for December. It's very dated. I wasn't extremely heavy into the position, but I still want to have a little bit of exposure. It'll be down probably like 20, 25% by tomorrow. But anyways, wanted to be transparent, wanted to be clear. I was wrong on that. Okay, boom, that's where we're at. Now, let's jump into the meat of this. So like, where are we at? Expectations moving forward in the market. Now, before we get into that, I ask you to do two things. Consider liking and subscribing every single day. I make videos for you so you are prepared. Discord link is down below if you're interested. Never want to push that on anyone. We have a lot of free content, and you can definitely get a lot of free content here instead of having to pay for anything. But if you want to get with us daily, the Discord link is down below. Now, the biggest thing I want to say here, I am shocked. I'm shocked, flabbergasted, disbelief that Amazon is able to hold us up right now. Okay, so we're just looking at like a small time frame to really look at what's happening here. Okay, and I don't want to spend too much on smaller time frames, but it's kind of what you have to do with all these earnings happening right now. We need to get back above like 15.5 and hold, but really like 15.38 is where you need to get. You get above like 15.30, 15.38, you look good for the upside. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I am on high guard because I do believe Apple holds more weight here. Okay. But what I will say is if you continue to move like this and we get some buyers overnight, you look good. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Amazon is going to help Tesla because it's an XOY. It's also helping Microsoft with Azure and what's happening with AWS and the good news from there. So if AWS goes, you assume Microsoft is also going to help out from that as well. So those are two areas that's really helping, okay? And you're seeing the market really hold up so far. So that is the good news of where you're at. Now, the bad news is you got to be on high guard. Like I said, this is your previous high you had right here. You're back below it. Not ideal. QQQ, you can see it as well. You're right above it. You bounced again on it here today. But again, I'm on high guard. SPY. I mean, honestly, I would like to see SPY as I'm watching now. I would like to see SPY come down to 443. I know. You're like, Tyler, what are you talking about? I like to see it get the retest of previous highs, start to see some support here. Also with ES coming down a little bit deeper, like 44.8, maybe a little bit deeper as well. So we can at least get that touch on SPY. That's what I'm looking at right now. So again, I'm on high guard. I'm sitting on like my hands as of right now. I'll probably see where Apple's at. I'm not going to say I closed it because I haven't closed it. So I just don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm going to kind of reevaluate it. Now going into this week and the rest of the week, I am watching Apple like a hawk. I want to see a retest of your previous high. And this will be your buying opportunity if we're going to get one. Basically like 181, 183 is your previous all-time high. That's where you want to see us get a retest. You're basically at 186, 185 right now, not too far off that range. I want to see a touch. I want to see a reaction. I most likely will become a buyer for a data position at that level. Okay. You also might get back into the turn of going shorter term trades pretty soon, with like 2 weeks, 3 weeks out, getting back into those positions. But again, I need to see the reaction, need to see how we're playing out here. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm not full bull right now. I'm definitely very cautious with how we're performing and where we're at. I anticipated, and it could still happen overnight, I anticipated downside into Monday, most likely, if Apple didn't perform well. I will say their numbers weren't atrocious. If you look for things that perform bad, their expectation, they expected services to not do well. Okay. But services really shined, and the cost of running services is a lot less than the cost of most of the goods that they're selling out there, like iPhones, Macs, etc. So this was an interesting switch or pivot for them, but they still didn't mention AI. Amazon did mention AI, and they literally went like up 11, 12%. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, that's where we're at. So this is what I'm watching for. This is what I'm looking at. That's where we're at. Now, really quick as well, jumping into trading view, giving you a few visuals here as well. VIX. Said it yesterday. You had that gap up to like 16. You pushed up a little bit more like to 17. Kind of came down. I'm still watching VIX like a hawk. There's no reason to be jumping in, looking at anything right now. The big thing too with looking at VIX in these is some of the underlying indicators for downside. DXY, oil yields. Also, you look at the dollar, right? Coming into the resistance. It's kind of slowing down on the day. Needing more information here. Going into oil. Oil kind of, rejected yesterday. Pushing back up. Almost a bullish engulfing. Energy and oil looks very strong. This is the one catalyst I believe that could hurt and bring a lot of pain to the market. So when we go into CPI and PPI upcoming, I'm probably going to be sidelined for those as well, at least to the long side. Most likely will be on the sidelines for those. So just understand that this is definitely a red flag. I need to see energy start to dip, but it most likely won't based on OPEC's data and kind of where they're at. It's like record-breaking levels of how much they've kind of restricted everything here. Also going into yields and bonds, chop, slowdown obviously happening here. The 10-year did move up again today. I want to also highlight, you had, I believe, Bill Ackman come out and say that he is net short on the 30-year yield. Is it 30 or 10-year? So one of them, 30 or 10-year. I can't remember which one it was. Either way, they both went up major today. Definitely interesting to be watching. You would like to see shorter term yields come down faster than the higher yields. So this is good with the inversion slowly pushing down. But again, I don't like to track this, every single day. It's not too relevant in comparison. You need to see a lot of data over time. So if we get back below 200 MA, maybe, but until then, that's where we're at right now. So again, so you can see here as well. So that's what we're looking at in particular here. I'm being very passive. Again, I can't say this enough. You got to be passive here. You got to be patient. You got to be really to the point where you can sit on your hands and try to maintain your composure throughout this movement that we're getting right now, okay? I cannot stress that enough. But I will say, Again, it's shocking the reaction that we're getting on some of these names. For instance, you have Tesla. Again, Tesla is looking. Everyone knows that I'm pretty bullish on Tesla, primarily into as like for dated positions. You're seeing the wedge kind of forming out here. Now, I'm not a big wedge guy, but you're seeing the wedge start to play out and potentially trying to break back to the upside. Very interesting behavior that we're seeing there. You go into Microsoft. Massive support here. We mentioned yesterday, this 126 basically down to 123. Massive support. Starting to try to find buyers in there. All day long, we kind of sat there and bounced and bounced and bounced. So I'm interested with where we're at, but I have to say right now, more than the past few weeks, I'm screaming caution. Okay. I am screaming 100% caution based on what happened here. Apple, highly likely to get that retest of 182, 183. I thought it was 181, but it's like 182, 183. I need to see the reaction there. Microsoft, you're already at these big levels. You're also on massive levels on Tesla, NVIDIA, AMD hit those levels, bounced really strong today. So we got a lot of big tests. So if we were able to hold where we're at, I would become pretty confident in the upside. But I have to wait to see how we react to this. If you want to get access and kind of see my thoughts throughout the day, I recommend following on Twitter. It's just the best way so I can post all day long. So you can see that and different tips and things I'm looking at. Also, I do have a space call around 30 minutes after every single daily video, including today. So you'll be able to tap in there and ask me questions and jump in and be engaged, hopefully, with the community as well. So that's overall what I'm looking at. Today's video, not very long. The biggest thing I can say right now is caution, pump the brakes, slow down. I don't think it's time to say to short everything, but I think it's definitely time to start being passive with where we're at. 110%. Just slow down. You have a lot of opportunity that might be coming in front of us very soon. Again, I have to say this, okay? People continue to say, well, man, Tyler, you're missing out on this. You're missing out on all this downside here, man. You're missing out. I'm like, guys, I'm watching the trend. I'm watching how we're trading, right? We're finally getting below a previous high here, okay? And we're battling here, even though Apple just kind of crapped the bed on earnings. So again, I have to say, patience, and I guarantee even if we make a lower low, and that's really where you get confirmation to get into a play, but if that happens, you're going to get an opportunity to get into a play. Please listen to me. You will get an opportunity. Please understand that. So rushing into plays is not going to make you, it might make you a little bit more money, but it's not going to make you a successful trader. And ultimately, that's what we're trying to do here, is become successful traders and understand, our weaknesses as well as understanding our strengths. So hopefully we can focus on our strengths and try to kind of hide our weaknesses in our trading. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.